Here to explain more, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. First of all, they want $3 trillion. Secondly, they want people to make more money staying unemployed than being employed. Is that correct? Oh, and by the way, Democrats want to protect China from liability?
Well, what they first want to do is no longer $3 trillion. They're now asking for $4 trillion. And remember, in their $3 trillion bill, it mentioned cannabis more than it ever mentioned research or jobs. This is what they have. They just have a wish list, not a way forward. Even today, when you have unemployment insurance, the extra amount of money that the federal government puts in, to extend it, the Republicans said, let's extend it a week while we negotiate. You know who said no? Chuck Schumer. But watch what they'll say out on television. The president was willing to continue to go forward to protect those who are unemployed right now, build so we could get people working again, and solve this problem. Every single time we've worked on COVID legislation, you know who's held it up? Nancy Pelosi. Remember at her refrigerator when small businesses needed the money for their employees? She said no. Or when the very first CARES Act went forward, she said no and held it for another week. How many more people were unemployed because of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer's actions?
It's unbelievable. What else is hidden in here? Lindsey Graham said today on my radio show that, in fact, they actually, except for one Democrat, they want to prevent Americans that want to hold China responsible for what they did to the world from doing so. Why are they protecting China?
That is the biggest question. I do not know what the Communist Party of China has on the Democrats, but it is very powerful. It is so powerful. When the Chinese are now hacking to find our vaccines, I put a bill on the floor to sanction any hackers. They voted against it. We now have a report in a paper today that the FBI says China's trying to influence our election, and we know who they want to win, and also influence members of Congress. They denied that in a foreign affairs vote just the other day. We even had the Armed Service Chairman say it wasn't China's fault. It's not their responsibility to warn America about the virus, trying to blame the president. And Adam Schiff, a real favorite of all of ours, you know what he said when we closed down the Houston consulate that people said was the hub of espionage? He said it was all politics and he blamed America. Why won't Nancy Pelosi bring those bills to the floor that hold them accountable? Why? Because they want to defend China and blame America.
Well, there's an election in 96 days. I'm hoping and praying that if you're going to vote for the president, maybe it's time to put Nancy Pelosi in the minority and keep the Senate Republican. That would be helpful.
That's the best thing you can do.
What?
All right. So what you got to do is, which party's best to keep America safe? Go to takethehouse.com if you want to get rid of Nancy Pelosi.
Kevin McCarthy, thank you for being with us.